Big Drive Energy live on a Wednesday, a wacky Wednesday, a hump day. We've got a lot to talk about today. We got a lot to talk about. The Ryder Cup next weekend. Mitchell lucked his way into some sort of a box for the practice round, so he'll be at Bethpage on Wednesday. We're going to do our pod next week on Thursday is our plan right now. So if you're rocking with us normally on a Wednesday, you'll rock with us live on Thursday. We'll have Mitchell's whole take from Bethpage Black. But today we're got to get to some football talk. As always, this is a golf podcast, but we got to fill it with some football talk, especially to start the pod. We've got some stuff from the Mid-Am this past week. We've got Charlie Hull winning a golf tournament, Alex Noren winning some golf tournaments, and then we are going to power rank all 24 Ryder Cup participants, 1 through 24. It's going to be electric, and then we're going to finish it up with What the Fuck Wednesday. All right, let's tee it up. Big Drive Energy Wednesday. And I just got to say, I'm going to go into full Robbie Burger mode. Shout out to the people at Tropical Smoothie Cafe. I mean, a delightful meal I had.
Don't try to do this. Holy
a delightful meal I had this morning. They're running a special right now. They're running a special.
You need to stop.
You buy a flatbread, and you get a free smoothie. So I went mango monsoon on the smoothie. Absolute perfection. Then, because it was free, then I get the peanut butter and banana and honey and granola flatbread. And my God, was it the absolute best thing I've ever had. That's it.
That was all you got.
That was pretty good, right?
It actually was pretty good, relatively speaking.
You just poo-pooed it from the start. Kind of really ruined it for me, but
yeah, I mean, it's just cringy to me.
How is it cringe? The dude is hilarious, and he's so good at delivering, and I'm trying to up my delivery.
I know. That's why it's cringy, because you're trying to imitate him. Honestly, though, like a breakfast flatbread, that sounds a little odd because I associate flatbread as a pizza. So I'm like, you're having a pizza with granola and bananas on it. That's kind of wild. And then I am out on mango fully. I mean, if you look at me, you can tell I'm not like the hugest fruit connoisseur you've ever seen. But mango in general, just the flavor of it, not a fan. I don't know if I've ever actually eaten mango by itself. So
hey, shout out Jeff. Spencer out of bounds is what it's more like, or Spencer. This is it. Spencer Other Fairways. That flatbread was delightful.
Yeah, that sounds about right for you. But just mango smoothies, like a mango White Claw. Well, I just do not like White Claw anymore anyways, but
dude, I'll go. I gotta cut you off real quick.
Mango drinks are just gross to me, which is actually ironic. Well, this is coconut pineapple.
Okay. Ironically, dude, I am so addicted to Surfsides, and I keep buying other things, just not intentionally, but like I went to the store to pick up some food. We were cooking on Sunday or Saturday, and I went to the store to pick up some food, and I needed more drinks. And Surfsides are not that well known right now. Like they're in most liquor stores. They'll have like one or two. Obviously, if you go to Total Wine, they'll have a good amount of them. But like most smaller liquor stores will have like one variety pack flavor, which is fine by me. But like the grocery stores haven't picked up on this trend yet. The grocery stores are slow. And so this King Soopers by my house doesn't have Surfside. So I got Voodoo Ranger teas. And they're not beer tea. They're just a Voodoo Ranger brand. They're like a Surfside, same scenario, but they are trash, dude. They taste like soap. I don't like them. I just want my Surfsides, and I keep doing this where I go somewhere and I'm like, oh, this will taste like a Surfside, or this is giving it. The only thing close is a high noon tea. High noon teas are very, very close to Surfsides, but
even then they're like slightly sweeter. Surfsides are just the best.
Yeah, they're Surfside, sip, eat, enjoy, or whatever their tagline is. They're even on altitude radio now that I listen to. Everybody's pushing the Surfside. So it's incredible. I'm telling you, it's the best canned cocktail out there. Buy it.
Bro, I've been on Surfsides for going on like 3 years now. That's all I drink when we're at the beach. And you know what I actually found out from a liquor rep is that, they can't advertise caffeine and alcohol together anymore. Like,
yeah, shout out for Loco for my whole college. One $2 can gets me through a whole night.
Yeah, basically killed people. I don't want to say that on the pod. Get us canceled. Well, what was the Four Loco? Wasn't there a Wired or like some different Four Loco version that like definitely, I think, hurt people? Wasn't it like protein and caffeine with malt liquor or some shit? It was like some sort of version of a Four Loco.
I don't know if the Four Loco ever got in the protein game, but they definitely were mixing malt liquor with serious amounts of caffeine.
Oh,
right down my alley.
So what I heard is, what's crazy is Surfside, the tea ones naturally have caffeine because tea has caffeine. So, and especially if you do the green tea, because green tea has more caffeine than regular tea, they have figured out that if you drink 4 green tea Surfsides, that is basically the equivalent caffeine-wise to 1 Four Loco. But they just can't advertise it as caffeine and alcohol because they banned that shit after Four Loco took lives of many college student. But isn't that crazy too? Like, you're actually getting caffeine as well. So it's even maybe a slightly different buzz than you would normally get with any other, seltzer or anything like that. Plus it's not carbonated and it tastes great. It's not super sweet. I can drink 8 million of them. And that might be part of the problem. Like, do you think at this point in our lives, being 30 and 31, are you better off drinking something that doesn't taste as good because you drink it slower, or are you just going for whatever tastes the best, even though you feel like you could drink 1 million of them?
I think I'm still a go for what tastes the best and drink 1 million of them. It had to be like bad, like not that I don't love the taste. It would have to be terrible for me to not drink it fast. That's just one of my bigger issues. I'm talking about
like occasionally at a bar, if I'm at a nice dinner, I'll order like a gin martini, or
I would still slurp that down super fast. Like, that's my problem.
You're not gulping it down. You're like sipping it. I mean, I'll still drink it in, 20, 30 minutes. I'm not milking it for 2 hours, but I am not chugging it. Like, I can legit drink a Surfside and not like trying to chug it. I can drink one in 5 minutes. I just take a sip here, gulp here, a gulp there, and it's gone in 5 minutes. Like, it is so easy to do. I'm almost at the point of, should I order something that I don't love the taste of? And even like Scotch feels like kind of I was talking to my buddy about this, and he goes, Scotch feels kind of like the next step in alcohol drinking, like you're leveling up. And I'm like, dude, I just don't. Like, you really got to be a sicko to be into Scotch and drink it regularly and just not get severely hungover, especially because you're like smoking a stogie generally if you're drinking Scotch. Not generally, but at times they go together. And I just think that it like wrecks me. I can do it once a year, and other than that, I am out on Scotch and not stogies necessarily, but it just leaves such a rancid taste in my mouth for hours after, maybe days after, I brush my teeth 4 times and it's still sitting there. So I don't think I'm ever going to be a Scotch guy.
Yeah, well, that's my problem too, is even when I have a drink like that, I just am holding it constantly. Like, I don't set my drinks down very often. So when like me drinking alcohol straight that's a bad decision. That's why
it's definitely a crutch in social settings. Like, how awkward do you feel standing around and you don't have a drink? Having a drink in your hand just automatically makes things seem more chill, more smooth. You're just standing there with your hands in your pockets. You're like, what the fuck are we even doing here? Why am I not sitting on my couch right now?
Yeah, my new move is at home when I mix, like I constantly have my mix of lemonade and like an Arnold Palmer, basically lemonade and like the powdered drink mixes, and raspberry tea. And so I constantly have a pitcher of that at the house. And when I'm sober, when I'm not drinking for a day, I just drink it by itself in the afternoon, evening. But when I'm drinking, I add vodka to it. And the best part about that is I can add about a shot of vodka, but add a full cup, like a massive cup, either like this bad boy. Like this thing's had plenty of vodka in it. But it's a huge drink and it's still alcohol, but it takes so much longer to drink that I'm not like refilling it I've gotten to the point where when I go away from the fridge, like a lot of my TV watching is down, in the garage now, or even out in the backyard. I bring 2 drinks because I don't want to get up again in 4 minutes and get another one. Or like if I've started, usually I don't bring 2 just dry, like 2 just unopened, unfiltered drinks. If one has been opened and I've gone at least like a quarter through it, I'm definitely bringing 2 out to dinner or out to watch. Like I'm not doing this walk back and forth scenario. When I sit down, I want to be ready to watch whatever I'm watching.
Oh yeah. I definitely agree with you there. You just got to be prepared. It's just called being prepared. Like you got to think ahead, and that's, you've become an adult. You're starting to think a little out into the future, and you're preparing more than 15 minutes ahead of what you had originally planned out. You got some flies buzzing around you. I don't know what's going on there,
Bro,
but
I know it's terrible.
I've seen him in front of the screen. It's kind of pissing me off. Let's talk a little football before we get into, I feel like we got a lot of golf to talk about. I don't know how it's already been 12 minutes. We've just been talking about nonsensical bullshit. But that, I guess, is pretty standard. So anything stick out to you this weekend in football, fantasy football? Our pick 6 was ass, which is
we went 1-5 again. So we picked 6 games against the spread. We went 1-5, and I texted Mitchell middle of Sunday evening in my wallowing in my sorrow of the Broncos loss that we're just going to pick these games like we don't know anything. And not that we know a lot. Well, obviously we're 1-5. We're 1-5 back-to-back weeks, a total of 2-10 on the year. Minor setback for a major comeback. But it's just these obvious games that then when you on the surface look at it, and then we go into, oh, well, this team's a road dog in the division. They're getting 6 points, blah, blah, blah. No, fuck it. This week, we're going to look at the board and we're going to say, this team is clearly better than this team. I don't even care what the spread is. They're going to win, and they're probably going to cover. Like, there was like 7 pick 6s this week. I'm like, how
because they're literally picking favorites, bro. Like that is the problem is these first couple of weeks, it's just been favorites. You get a favorite. It's like Oprah up in this bitch. Favorites winning, favorites covering. And that is generally not how the NFL rolls. So we cannot, I feel like we've definitely tried to get cute with our picks, like thinking that we're a little smarter than everyone else, which I kind of feel like we are, not smartest guy in the room, but we are ball knowers, I would generally say. And that is why a lot of people have gotten these pick 6s because they don't know shit about football. And they're just like, oh, big favorite cover, big favorite, like the Ravens completely blowing the tits off the Browns. That should not have been that bad. It was actually a much closer game throughout than it ended up being. There was, a period of time I texted you, and the kiss of death is I texted you in the third quarter of the morning games being like, hey, we look pretty good. Like the Steelers game was tied. They lose by 2 scores. We have them, covering 2.5 points at home against fucking Seattle, who now apparently is not terrible. Kenneth Walker can get fucked to the moon, even though he's on almost every roster I have because I sat him week 2 and then he decides to have a football game. But we were at one point looking like, oh, we know balls for sure. We were definitely looking like we were about to be 4-0 in the morning session. And then guess what? I think they all flipped in like the middle of the third quarter, early in the fourth quarter, and it just never came back. Like, who else did we take against? We took against the Rams.
Oh, we had the Tennessee Titans. Like, why are you betting on the Tennessee Titans? That's what I always say after it doesn't hit. It's hindsight's 20/20, but you're like, that
game was so close the entire time as well. Like, and the Rams have actually looked much better than a lot of people have thought they've looked. So maybe I just feel like now I want to get into some games where like a 6.5 point favorite is losing outright. Like that is the kind
That
of
doesn't
shit
happen in the NFL this year or the last year for that matter.
well,
Doesn't even happen anymore. Any favorites this year 4.5 points or higher or 12-0 straight up. 7-5 against the spread.
Absurd. That's not the NFL I know and love. That's not my NFL because that's bullshit. The NFL is the league of parity. We need parity. We need big wins. We need big losses. I'm sick of teams getting in there, mucking it up and winning. Like, I don't know what your take is, but I think these first 2 weeks of football have been kind of ass. Like, there's been some good games. Oddly enough, the games that should be shit, sometimes good, sometimes maybe shit. The shit game, the supposed to be shit games were actually good. Like this Cowboys Giants game was electric. The Giants couldn't pull it off. Of course, I don't think they've ever beat Dak. I think Dak is 12-0 against the Giants, which is fucking insane. Like Dak has lost, it feels like, to almost everyone else in the league, but he somehow has the Giants number, which I guess is not the craziest stat in the world because the Giants have been ass for the better part of a decade to a decade and a half.
Two cheeks on the same ass. Doesn't matter if they've got Jackson Dart or Russell Wilson or Daniel Jones. It's just two cheeks on the same ass. How did that team win a playoff game like 2 years ago? That's what's unbelievable to me.
Dude, Danny Dimes, I mean, I think a lot of people, let's just get this out there as well. I mean, the Colts beating the Broncos made me absolutely sick. I was screaming into a pillow. Missy was annoyed with me for being pissed off, and I'm like, that's just a weekly thing.
A tale as old as time is the girl getting mad at the guy for being pissed off at a football game, and then everybody's mad. Just let me be 100%. Mad. Just let me chill.
Yeah. Just let me. I went into the bedroom, screamed into a pillow for a good 30 seconds. I walked back out, and then I was just sad. Like, I just like slumped my shoulders over, and I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, it was like a coping moment where I'm like, and I was honestly pre-coping in the middle of like the third quarter, early fourth. I'm like, we're losing this football game. It just felt like we had chances to put it away, never put it away. And then the craziest sequence at the end of the game happens, absolutely bones the Broncos. But I had kind of pre-coped, but then to watch your team win a game and then have it be stripped from you by a late flag. And I was in shock. I'm like, are you? And on top of it being a 15-yard penalty. And then, of course, their kicker makes a 45-yarder when if our kicker would have made a 42-yarder, the game would have been over. Just so much shit made me absolutely sick about that game. But Indiana Jones is Daniel Jones' nickname, and I think that's dope as shit. He is such a boring ass dude. Like, he has no personality whatsoever. But that might be one of my favorite nicknames in all of the NFL.
Yeah, we actually, upon further review, we got better this week. We learned. We actually went 2-4 because we had Bucks Monday Night Football plus 2.5, and they won by 1. So we had Bucks. We had, like you talked about, Steelers. We had Detroit. They destroyed Chicago. Cleveland, obviously, like you said, 12.5 point spread. Very close game until the end. Something, I don't even know what happened there at the end. And then the other bad beat we had was Jacksonville. Jacksonville's up 7. Bengals lose Joe Burrow, and somehow Jake Browning not only wins the game, but they cover 4. Like, I cannot believe that. And that's also a sucker pick. That's somebody's like, ooh, the fucking Bengals, Joe Burrow, they're going to win by 4. And they shouldn't have won that game by 4. That's a fucking joke.
Well, this takes us to a separate issue, this ref show that's been going on in the NFL, where the amount of calls that are happening in every game is getting more and more. It feels like the refs are slowing the game down. They're taking it out of a rhythm every single time, because you had that play with Travis Hunter that they called a phantom PI on that ends up giving the Bengals new life. The Jaguars basically had that game in the bag, and the Bengals get new life with that dog shit pass interference call. The Broncos obviously get hosed on that anchoring call or leverage call, whatever the fuck you want to call it. And then there was one other big penalty, wasn't it? What other big penalty was there that screwed a team this weekend? was it it was the Panthers Cardinals game. Like the Cardinals Panthers last drive, I think that just on the last drive of the game, I think there was like 5 or 6 penalties that kept giving the Panthers new life and new life and new life. And it just ends up being such a calamity of errors by these referees. And you just wonder, we're still talking about the same shit. And I guess, what else is there to talk about if all the refs are good and always make the right call? So it is just kind of sports discourse in general, but at the same time, it feels like the refs have just only gotten worse than they were. They definitely have not gotten better recently.
No, and they're making the game about them. And I was listening to the radio on Monday night, driving home from work, and they were talking about that and that fact of apparently that crew that worked the Broncos game, they didn't say this outright, but kind of said this. They were like, Andy Lindahl's like, yeah, they like their screen time. Let's put it that way. So
yeah,
it's just there's too many games that are like a game deciding play and a game defining drive. First quarter pass interference here or there, whatever. That like the fourth quarter, it should be like it should be an egregious whistle in order for it to even get called, in my opinion. Like it's crazy what you're whistling on that you wouldn't call in the first quarter, and then you're calling it in the fourth quarter on a game that literally changes. Like they don't call that whistle, they don't blow that whistle on the Broncos, and they win the game. And it could be a completely different season for them. Could be a season changer.
Like, dictating an outcome of a game from a referee is just disgusting to me. Let's touch on our fantasy teams real quick before I get into some golf. I went 3-1 this week, kind of made a comeback. The one loss I had, this guy had who was it? Jamar Chase, who went off. He had oh God, what was the I don't even know if I can look it up or what. But
Amon-Ra, did he have Amon-Ra too?
He had Amon-Ra as well, and then he had I think Puka. And Puka had like, I think he had like those 3 players at 120 points. He had like 165 points. I'm like, well, I'm fucking screwed. So I lost that one. But other than that, I kind of feel like I've righted the ship slightly. I mean, I had Joe Burrow on one of my teams that now do you know who I feel like is in every single league that I've looked at that is available and I feel like is going to have a pretty fucking good year is Jared Goff. Like, he had a bad week 1 against a very good Packers team. But other than that, he's been available. I've picked him up in a couple leagues. He had 40 points last week. They still have weapons on the outside. They have a good offensive line. They still have a great running game. They might not be as good of a team as they were last year. Their defense might not be as good. They might not win as many games, but I still see that offense shredding. So like, why I know Jared Goff isn't a dual threat, but like Justin Fields was the first ranked free agent quarterback. And I get it from a running threat perspective, but like in what world? He's had one good game last week was the worst game I think statistically he's ever had in his career, which is saying something. And other than that, like he's not really a throwing threat. He's not going to win you anything. At least Jared Goff, you feel like you kind of know what you're getting. With Justin Fields, it's like a fucking shot in the dark.
Yeah, I think it's just due to the fact that he could give you 70 yards on the ground and a touchdown on the ground, which is like a running back's good day on top of maybe throwing a touchdown or 2. Listen, so I think I went 2-3 this week in my 5 teams, actually 2-4, including the team I shared with Kylie. But listen to this matchup where I just got completely defecated on. The other guy's name is on your face. Cortland Sutton, your face, and he did this to me and suffocated me to a pulp. I scored 142 points and I lost by 50.
Oh my God.
I had Drake May, Christian McCaffrey, Hampton, Thomas, Harrison, McBride, McMillan, Jordan Mason, Ravens D. So 142 points. He had 189 and he had Lamar 30, Jonathan Taylor 35, Javonte Williams 30, Malik Neighbors 43, Devontae Adams 26. Like he had Kenneth Walker with 25 on his bench. I mean, he could have had a 200-point week. I was just like, I can't do anything. I put together a lineup of 142 points, which was let me see how high in the league that was.
You probably dude, and that's just the bad beats.
That beats ironically, we had a damn high scoring week. We have an extra flex in this league because they voted to take the kicker out. So we have no kicker, but an extra flex. 142 would have beat 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams. So I guess I'm right in the middle of the pack on the scoring, but 189 was by far the high score of the week, and not fun when you play that guy that everybody just goes off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, 100%. That's just, you run into a buzzsaw from time to time. Also, I didn't have on my bingo card Troy Franklin being the number one he's like a top 10 wide receiver in the league right now, according to fantasy points. Is that like, I don't know if that's an overreaction or what, but I've been dropping Pat Bryan, picking up Troy Franklin in a lot of my leagues, and he's still available. But Pat Bryan, I think, has 1 catch in the first 2 weeks, like 3rd round pick, big, highly touted dude out of Illinois. And they're just fucking, Bo's got a hard on for Troy Franklin, which, don't get me wrong, if he's open and, knows how to move with Bo, like that one throw Bo made down the sideline to Franklin, where he ran back out and it was outside of the pocket, rolling left and threw it across his body, like 42, 43 yards in the air, was a fucking sick throw.
Yeah, I think my biggest miss of the week was just not necessarily in fantasy. I think I have him on 2 leagues, but Cortland Sutton having 1 catch for 6 yards when Shavarius Ward and the Colts' top 2 corners were out. That was borderline. That's borderline jail for Sean Payton and company to not get your number 1 target the ball more than 1 time in a game where you scored 28 points and moved the ball well. What are we doing here?
And then on the other side of that coin, Pat Surtain, the number 1 cornerback in the entire league, is getting thrown at all fucking day and getting picked on. Like, of all people, that's like, talk about a role reversal. Our top guys should be getting way more touches than their top guys, considering who we're facing. And somehow, Sean Payton's play calling has kind of left something to be desired. It was better this last week, but I still think that at some point, I don't know if, there needs to be a change of who calls offensive plays. And Sean Payton will never give that up because he's got like the biggest ego in all football. But one other thing before we get to golf. Did you see that Aaron Rodgers throw to Pat Freiermuth that was incomplete?
No, I did not.
He was rolling out to the right and threw probably the sickest ball. He's 42 years old. He threw it 45 yards in the air, like old school Rodgers flick of the wrist, puts it in fucking Freiermuth's breadbasket, and Freiermuth drops it. And it was like the sickest throw. Like, it curved, probably it had like 10 yards of fade on it. He just flicked it. He was across it, not necessarily across his body. He was rolling right, but it went to the right sideline, but it was just falling literally right into it. And Aaron Rodgers is still probably the most talented, just arm talent guy, where I'm like, how'd you make that throw? Like, it just feels like he needs no platform. He could be without legs and still be one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Like, I don't know how
legs.
I don't know how he creates the kind of speed that he does, but it's fucking wild. And just in general, the Steelers are an odd like team of misfit toys. I feel like with who's that? Jalen Ramsey. They've got Jonnu Smith. They've got DK Metcalf. It feels like it doesn't even feel like a team. It feels like a bunch of individuals that just got put together on like a fucking intramural Saturday football touch football game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's very non-Steelers of them. Like, that's not the old Steeler way where it's like they just keep their all same. Yeah, they keep their all same the dudes. They run the ball. They play defense. No, they're like signing free agents and making trades. Yeah, very un-Steelers like of them in 2025.
Mm-hmm. Well, should we get to some golf? I feel like we got a lot to cover.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's get to some golf and talk about none other than the man, the myth, the legend, Scottie Scheffler, winning again. Wins the Pro Tour. Just another Sunday with Bennett Scheffler holding a trophy. I mean,
I think I saw dude from fall series events. I
saw a tweet that was like, all these guys are out here grinding, trying to keep their career going, and Scottie just shows up and fucking wins again.
I mean, yeah, like on the other side of the coin, Lanto Griffin finished solo third and went from like 154th in the FedEx Cup to 98th to keep his job next season, to actually keep his card. And he's like celebrating just keeping a job. And Scottie's like, oh, another $2 million check. Who gives a shit? And it was pretty funny. Did you see the trophy?
Yeah, somebody said it looked like a pack of cigs.
Yes, it looked like a carton of smokes, and it 100% did, dude. Like, I kind of miss, that cigarettes cannot advertise anymore. Like, you can't.
Yeah, I kind of figured that, judging by the fact that you never see any ads, but also I bought cigarettes when I was in London 2 years ago, and it is absurd. They have like pictures of basically dead children on them to like discourage you, and it's like, no. If you're buying a pack of smokes, you're buying a pack of smokes. That's not doing anything for you.
Yeah, exactly. You could have to fucking walk across cut glass to get a pack of smokes. You'd be like, I need a heater right now. I'm 3 pints deep outside of the pub. But it was just funny because I was watching, not to sidetrack it here, I was watching the Bills for 30 for 30, and they were showing one of the plays at the old Bills Stadium. And the biggest logo is this Marlboro Red, like huge cowboy advertisement. I'm like, that, talk about like Americana. I want that shit. I want a t-shirt with just a big ass Marlboro Red logo on it. I think that shit, like, why is marketing so good for cigarettes? They did such a good job that it just like, if I was 50 years ago, I'd be ripping down heaters right now myself. Like, they can't even advertise and they're still a popular thing. But yeah, the trophy definitely looked like a pack of a fucking carton of smokes. On the other, one more thing. Do you know how much a pack of cigarettes costs now?
Probably close to 10 beans, I would guess.
I think it's like $10 or $11 a pack. It is fucking insane. Like, imagine being a chain smoker that smokes 2 packs a day. I think our dad smoked 3 packs a day back in the day. Crazy. He'd be spending basically a tank of gas on cigarettes every single day. Like, that's $1,000 a month. That's fucking insane. It is bananas, and people just continue to pay for them.
They tried to get me to buy, I think, cigarettes or chew the other day at the local Circle K because I was in there buying my Zins, and they were like, if you buy a tobacco product, you get a free can of Zins. I'm like, what are you trying to tell me? You want me to buy a pack of Marlboro Red so I can get a free can of Zins?
You trying to push me
trying to double up my addiction?
You trying to push me into getting addicted to tobacco? That's fucked up. You could fucking sue them, I'm sure. It'd be like, this Circle K made me addicted to cigarettes. That probably would hold up in court. But back to the Pro Core. Ben Griffin 3-whacks it on 18 to miss the playoff. Scottie Scheffler, typical Anaconda style Scottie. He's lurking Friday, lurking Saturday, goes out and fires a number on Sunday. Ben Griffin kind of was in the driver's seat most of the day, and then needed a 2-putt on 18 on a par 5. He hit it on the green in 2, 3-whacks it ultimately. And Ben Griffin did you hear what he said after when he ran into Scottie after the round, and he goes, thank God I don't have to play against you in 2 weeks. Like, I am so done playing against you. I want to play with you. So that was pretty cool. But Ben Griffin is just such a good dude that it's almost annoying how good of a dude he is. Like, he just 3-whacked to lose a tournament. He takes his hat off. He waves to the fans. He shakes everyone's hand. Like, and he's had a great year. He's probably made $7, $8, $9, $10 million. But you can't tell me, especially, Scottie's got 20 some wins. Ben Griffin has 2. You can't tell me that even it being a smaller fall series event, it didn't mean something to Ben Griffin to lose that tournament. But on the other side of that, he's in good form heading into the Ryder Cup. So I feel good about that. And we'll rank these guys later, but Ben Griffin might be like the fucking second or third best player on the U.S. Ryder Cup team, which will not bode well for the red, white, and blue. Let me just put it that way.
Well, let me pose this question to you. If you took out the majors, so we're just talking PGA Tour events this season, you take out the majors and you take out Scottie Scheffler, did Ben Griffin have the best season on the PGA Tour this year? Was he the most consistent best player on the PGA Tour this year? Like, I think that answer is maybe yes.
Yeah, I would probably agree with you. I know Russell Henley had a good year as well, but just from a wins perspective and a top 10s perspective, I think, winning twice. And the coolest part is Ben Griffin virtually kind of came out of nowhere. He just had a very, very good season. And I hope that he can continue. Like, Andrew Novak was on that trajectory and then kind of fell off towards the end of the year. But there's always that one guy that kind of comes out of left field and has a really good year. But you just don't expect it to be a guy like Ben Griffin, who's, you know, in his early 30s. But that is the beauty of golf, is there could be a guy, Jimmy Walker, I've brought up a few times. I don't think he won on the PGA Tour until he was like 35. And then he ended up winning a handful of times and winning the PGA Championship years ago. But he was on the mini tours basically all of his 20s into his early 30s. So you never really know when somebody's going to come out of nowhere and burst onto the scene on the PGA Tour, which makes it fun.
Yeah, let's transition to a little bit more amateur golf in the mid-am that's going on. So this is being played down at Troon in Scottsdale. Rough scoring average the first couple of days, in between 75 and 76. So here's some of the mid-am golfers' jobs. We got a dentist, construction company owner, professor, high school teacher, our friend of the program, Colin Prater, science teacher. We've had him on. Great interview there that we had with him after his little glow up, I will say, at the US Open a couple years ago. But what explain to me, I mean the people, the mid-am, like what that is, that like, because there's the USAM, but why is it mid? Is it, I gotta say, our team's just really mid right now.
It's simply an age thing. I think you have to be over 25 to be able to be to qualify for the mid-am, which they used to have the pub links as well, where you had to like be playing from a public golf course. You could not be a country club kid. But basically,
that's electric. The mid-am, I love that.
I know. I tried to qualify and I fucking withdrew halfway through the second round because I didn't want to be there anymore.
Tigered it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I like back. I fake twisted my ankle and walked off like 5 holes into the second round for sure. But the mid-am is strictly an age thing. So it's just a bunch of middle-aged full-time worker dudes that are really good at golf. And I thought it was interesting because Lou Stagner, also another friend of the program, tweeted that the yardages at Troon are only around 7,000 yards. And even at Scottsdale, that's about, 12 to 1,500 feet of elevation. That's probably 6,900 yards at sea level. And these scoring averages were 3 to 4 or 5 over par for those 2 days. So it posed a question, because I personally think that desert golf is actually harder than typical Parkland style golf. And you could, I just wanted to get your thoughts on it. But personally speaking, I think the hardest golf course I've ever played was Desert Forest in North Scottsdale. Technically Carefree. You got to stop looking at these flies, bro. They're buzzing around you and all you're doing. You have the attention span of a fly, because
just lock in.
Dude, they're buzzing your towel. You lock in.
I'm trying to lock in.
Dude. You're fucking looking around like somebody's coming after you, and it's just a couple of flies. But Desert Forest, probably the hardest golf course I've ever played. There and Bear Creek in Colorado. Shout out Men's Only Clubs, last one in Colorado. That is probably the other hardest golf course. And they both rate probably somewhere in the 76 to 77 range from the tips. So basically, if you're a scratch golfer, a good day for you is shooting 5 or 6 over par, which is pretty wild when you think about it. But desert golf to me is just, there's so many ways to make it hard, because your ball can just disappear. Parkland style, you can have a lot of trees, this and that, but a lot of times you have options where your favorite move is to hit it into an opposite fairway, one fairway over here, one fairway over there. But so many times in desert golf, there's a hole and then there's desert surrounding it, like cactus, trees, all of this, where you have no bailout. Like, you got to fucking hit it and play. You know what I mean? So that would be the only reason I would maybe say desert golf is tougher, and just the contours and how firm and fast they can really make a desert golf course. Like they can really, really firm it up. The greens can get lightning quick. The course can play really firm. So that seems to be the reason, in my opinion, why the scores are high. But I just love seeing like higher scores. I love watching dudes struggle. That's, every golf fan loves doing that shit. They don't want to see somebody fired 12 under for 2 days. They want to see 74 or 75. They want to see even par make it through to match play at the mid-am. So
yeah, well, and it's kind of electric, all of these guys that are just mid 30s, early 40s playing really good golf, and then they're not even on the same level of trajectory as like a mini tour player who's then a Corn Ferry Tour player who's then probably a DP World Tour player, then like the levels of it, which we've talked about a ton, is hilarious. But also all of these guys and everybody playing in this is better than every single person at their club, and probably within a 10-mile radius of them, like they're the best player in that area. So it's insane to see that the amount of talent and the work that guys put in still. Like I don't know. I don't even know if I could remotely commit myself to being that committed to golf when it's not my only thing. Like when it's not my only job, like I can't imagine the commitment of, I'm not saying it's harder to be a great amateur player than it is a PGA Tour player for sure. But just the commitment of it when, like Colin Prater's teaching, and granted in the summer, he's got summers off, so he probably has a little bit more free time, but overall just having a full-time job and then fucking trying to go out and grind after you worked a 9 to 5 all day in your office. Like, no, thank you, dude. No, absolutely no, thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah. 100%. And think about the guy that's a dentist. How do you have a dental practice? First of all, like, the kid's got to be a silver spooner, because nobody that gets through dental school and has hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt is playing that much golf. So you got to know that mom and dad were paying for the dental school to get him through, because otherwise, you don't just drop golf for 6 years while you're going to school and then pick it back up and you're this good. Like he was probably doing dental school as a side thing and working for mom and dad in the summertime. I have no idea. I don't want to slander the guy randomly, but I just definitely gave off a little silver spoon vibes. I wonder why our boy Hegestad wasn't there. I mean, he's clearly, or is he there? I don't know.
Maybe he's too old. Maybe he's past the mid-am status.
He's now in the senior am portion of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, let's get to the LPGA.
Let's talk about real quick Paul Mitchell losing his match in the mid-am because his caddy took a ride in a cart from 1 green to 2 tee. Like, what are we doing here? That's a leverage call on a 60-yard field goal level of shit right there.
100%, dude. That is the biggest joke of a ruling. And just the fact that, like, who even offered him that ride knowing that he couldn't take that ride? Like, that is just the biggest crock of horse shit. A caddy taking a ride in a cart. What does that is just one of those old school golf rules that has no relevancy whatsoever in the actual game. And just the fact that it was such a good match that went to extra holes, and then he ends up losing, not even being able to hit a shot on the second playoff hole. Like, talk about devastating. And if that's my buddy, I'm giving him the silent treatment for months. I'm like, you fucking find your way home and don't hit me up for the rest of the summer, because I would be fucking heated over that.
Yeah, that would set me off. Let's talk about a little LPGA. So Charlie Hole won this week, but it wasn't really a win for Charlie Hole. It was more of a loss for Gino Thidakul. How'd I do there? I don't know if
I can't judge you because I think it's Thidakul. That's how I would pronounce it. But
Thidakul had an absolute meltdown on the 72nd hole. She 4-putted to lose. Was it lose by 1? So a 3-putt would have been a playoff, or a 2-putt needed to be a playoff?
Well, so she was up by 1 and Charlie Hole made birdie. So I think she needed to 2-putt in order to, or no, I'm sorry. The putt was for eagle. So I think she just needed to 3-putt, and she ended up 4-putting to lose the event. Like, talk about an all-time devastating thing. And it just goes to show you Thidakul's, I looked up the stats on the LPGA Tour are a little harder to find. No surprise there, but she is a top 10 putter on the LPGA Tour in average putts per green.
Yeah. I thought she was, they said on that clip you sent me that she was like the best putter on the PGA Tour, or LPGA Tour, excuse me, or one of the top 5 putters on the LPGA Tour. That's like Denny McCarthy going out and 4-whacking. Denny McCarthy loses tournaments by chili dipping a wedge into the fucking water at the Valero, not 4-putting on a green. Like, when you have a strength, you got to lean on it, and 4-putting on the 72nd is not leaning on your strength.
100%. But it kind of raises a point that I always make to my students of when you have a 3 to 4 or 5 footer, I'm not telling you to diet in like on the last roll, but Thidical ended up 4-putting there because she was trying to take breakout and hammer it. And she hit the second one, 5-6 feet by. And it's like, why are you hitting it so hard? I understand, if you want to take a little breakout, but the softer you hit those short putts, the more it opens up the hole. Like she burned the edge on the second putt and the third putt, which is kind of funny to say. But she's burning edges because her pace was just so aggressive. And it's like, just hit those short putts a little bit softer. And it really, for lack of a better term, opens up the hole a little bit and allows, putts that aren't right in the center to possibly fall in, as opposed to, if you don't hit it right in the center when you have 3 foot, 4 foot by pace, then you're missing that putt. So that is kind of something I always hammer home with my amateur students. But, bull in the or man in the arena, I was going to say bull in a china shop, but that doesn't make any sense. Man in the arena at the time, she's not thinking like, oh, I'm going to 4-whack this. It's not even something I'm sure that crossed her mind. So then it's one of those where you're looking back and you're like, how did I just do that? Like, there's so many rounds. Everybody has them no matter what level you are, but you'll hit 3 to 4 shots during a round of golf where it is just like shocking how bad it is. And that's just kind of, that's what you live with. That is the game of golf.
Yeah, well, I will say, to piggyback on your putting point, I tend to think a lot of people that I play with, even the 12 to 15 handicaps, are better putters than I am, generally speaking. But it does give me serious golf anxiety when I see somebody hammering 3 to 4 footers and being like, I'm just taking the break out of this and hitting it in the middle. I do not like that strategy at all. And I don't think, maybe it works for some people, but it definitely doesn't work for me, because I hammer it and then I pull it and then I have another 6-footer coming back.
Yes, 1000%. I generally, I wouldn't say I die them in, but I'm trying to lag those 6-footers in there. And that's why I like fast greens, because you feel like you don't have to hit it hard and the putt's still going to get to the hole. So that's my take. But feel bad for Gino Thidical. Hopefully we're not just absolutely butchering her name, which is a good possibility. But Charlie Hull, who's going to hate on her winning? And actually Thidical. Yeah, exactly. She talk about a cigarette advertisement, but I think Thidical is number 1 in the race to the CME Globe, which is the FedEx, the LPGA version of the FedEx Cup. She's the number 1 player in the world. So obviously it hurts, but I think she's going to do just fine. Yeah,
that's something you could see Scottie Scheffler legitimately doing, is or doing. That's where his Achilles heel is.
Oh, for sure. And actually, I think I saw this. I think there's been like 15 or 20. I don't think there's been a 2-time winner on the LPGA Tour this year. And that
really?
That doesn't include
parity all over the place.
Yeah, I think Nelly Korda hasn't won. I don't know if Lydia Ko's won. There's been a few big names as well that have not won. And then every other week it's been a different winner. So pretty wild shit.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about a guy that's won twice in the last month. Alex Noren. He's won the Betfred British Masters and the BMW PGA Championship. Is that right? BMW PGA Championship.
It's the European version of. There's like 8 BMW or 8 BMW championships. I don't know.
Got it. Okay.
How they keep them all straight, but Alex Noren is on a tear right now, and I don't think he had won like 2 or 3 years previous, and then he goes and wins twice in 2 weeks, or 3 weeks, right after the Ryder Cup picks are announced. Like, we'll get into these rankings because I think we probably got to get there if we want to finish in an hour and a half. But I would have him above a few of the guys on the European Ryder Cup team right now. And obviously it's easy to say, hindsight's 2020. Now he's won twice, but he's on some sort of tear. And Alex Noren, for those of you who are unfamiliar, is the dude who's super famous for doing the super hardcore, like dry repetitions of really like holding off the club face and opening up his body to try to hit a big fade. And I think he still draws it, but that's what he's known for on social media is just the repetitions. And you should see Alex Noren's hands. Like, I don't know if there's a harder worker on either tour than Alex Noren. His hands look like boxing gloves. Like, they're he hits thousands of balls almost not every day, but he is probably one of the biggest range rats out on the PGA or DP World Tour. So I was happy to see him get a couple W's because he's just one of those dudes in his like late 40s that has continued. I almost consider, I would say him and Paul Casey feel somewhat similar to me. Paul Casey, I think, is slightly younger, but just a couple European dudes that just are really, really good ball strikers. Didn't have crazy good careers, but when they put it all together, it just feels like they're really, really tough to beat. So, and honestly, I got to mention these last few weeks over on the DP World Tour, these fields have been stacked. Like those fields make the Pro Tour Championship look like a fucking a slap and tickle. Like that's
if the Pro Tour Championship wasn't decided by the Ryder Cup team to go play as a group and tune up for Bethpage, that would have been a complete disaster of a field.
Oh yeah, it would have been an absolute snoozer. Because honestly, the series, I think it's the Rolex series, over on the DP World Tour, they play like the best golf courses in all of England. They play Wentworth, they play all these different spots that are just awesome. And I think there's a lot of Americans. Aaron Rye, not American, but was over there playing. You know, he's mostly a PGA Tour guy, so a lot of American players were over playing in the DP World Tour. And Patrick Reed this last week had a third place finish, beat everybody on the European Ryder Cup team. So there's been some live truthers banging the table for Pat Reed to get that Ryder Cup spot, which obviously he did not. So,
yeah, well, let's get into our Ryder Cup rankings. So we're going to power rank every single participant in the Ryder Cup from 24 to 1 or 1 to 24. We're probably going to start at the bottom. All right, let's do this here. Sharing my screen. Here we go. Okay.
Dude, I might have to take a bathroom break at this point. Holy cow. Holy cow. This is not the best podcasting in the world. If you're watching on the YouTube, Spencer's pulling up a very official graphic that he made in Photoshop. He is now proficient in Photoshop.
All right, let's start with I'm not proficient. I'm less than proficient, but passing grade. All right.
Would you put it on a job application? Would you say
no, probably not. No. I'm good at copying and pasting and moving things around. So these are our Ryder Cup power rankings. Let's start with number 24. I have a pretty clear, so we're going to decide these together as a group.
Well, let's preface it by saying this is the guys that we would take right now, like just strictly on form and past performance, but who we're taking right now head to head, like where we see them as players overall. Correct?
Yep. Correct. Exactly.
Okay.
Number 24. I've got a guy in mind. Do you have a guy in mind as well? It's on the European team.
I do. It's between actually two guys that I have in mind. I would say Rasmus Højgaard has got to be 24. Is it Rasmus or is it Nikolai?
It's Nikolai.
Okay. Okay, so wrong Højgaard. But yes, I would put Højgaard at 24. I mean, he's like 23 years old, so you know, very, very young, super talented guy, but I just think he's got a lot more ahead of him than he does behind him at this point. So
yeah, I agree with that. All right, number 23. I could go a couple different directions here.
I'm
23.
I'm going Straka. I personally think that Sepp is probably, he had a good beginning of the season, but later in the year, he just completely fell off. I honestly thought he had a good chance of missing the team. But I would put Sepp at 23. I don't know what your thoughts are.
What about Harris English at 23?
Harris English has been good this year, dude. I would take him. I think he's in the mid-teens.
Okay. All right. We'll move. I'll defer to you on this one. We're going to put Sepp Straka at 23.
Okay.
All right. Number 22. When I look at this board,
I know where I'm going, and it's on the American team.
Is it here?
Yes, it is. I think Sam Burns is number 22. He has not been good these last few years. He was more of a Scottie Scheffler's emotional support dog type of pick. And he's had a couple of decent finishes, but when all you do is choke away leads, it doesn't bode well for playing well at an international stage. So I could be wrong, and I hope I'm wrong, but I see Burnsy having a rough stretch for sure.
Yep. All right. Coming up next, dude, JJ Spawn's been playing some good golf. Like, is the next spot for Cam Young? Like,
I think,
I
yeah, it's
is it,
hard, dude. Maybe even
or
Patrick Cantlay. I would say Patrick Cantlay, honestly.
yeah, because other than Patrick Cantlay's like just
Resurgence
lucky,
this last part of the
lucky
season.
finish at the at his home tournament, the BMW, where he wins or almost wins every single year. If he wasn't a BMW merchant, he'd be probably 24 at this point.
For sure. Okay, I
20,
think let's see
dude.
here.
I feel like this guy,
Yeah, I would say Matt
Matt
Fitzpatrick. I would
Fitzpatrick,
agree with that.
no dog. We're gonna have to
No,
make him
absolutely
small.
zero dog in him. There you go. I was going to say, can't really fit his name in there. This is going to make a fire graphic when we post this on our social media later. But Matt Fitzpatrick at 20, I agree. He actually started to round into form. He is a major champion, which, can't be said for Cantlay, Burns, Straka, or Højgaard. All four of these guys on this list. So I gotta, I mean, Fitzpatrick's a solid player though. That is truly the problem, is I just feel like the depth of the European team is much stronger. Okay. I think we got to go back to the American side. I would say that at this point, you need to stop fucking with this graphic. I would say Harris English in 19 is a pretty fair choice. Do you agree or disagree?
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna have Harris English at 24, so
I think English, he's actually been very solid. Like if you look at his total career, and he had a very good year this year, somewhat of a resurgence. So I like English at 19.
Dude, I think, and now it gets a little sketchy.
Hairy.
I would say it's between the two young guys, this guy for me or this guy. Oh,
yeah.
What did I just do there? Like his year has just been nothing good, and he's young, and he played. Did he play in the last Ryder Cup, or was that the president?
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
And are we basing this off of like future trajectory as well? Because then
no, this is just ranking. No, because he's one of the highest on this list. If it's future career, like this is just how they're going to perform, or how we think they rank going into the Ryder Cup this year.
Okay, yeah, I don't hate that one then for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's
I just
these
wait.
two.
I feel like Russell Henley's got to go behind him.
I feel like, dude, Russell Henley's. You just talked about how great of a year he's had. He said he's almost the best PGA Tour player on the tour this year.
Not named Scottie Scheffler, but from a consistency standpoint, not necessarily. He has no major wins. He hasn't won this year, or maybe he won once this year. But what do you tell me what you think? I'll give you this call.
I think we go. I think it's like this. I think we're going here.
Okay.
And then here. I think Russell at 16, Ludwig at 17, and Cam Young at 18 is about where it fits in.
Okay. I think that's fair. Now, I know this is going to ruffle some feathers, but I think Shane Lowry needs to be brought up in this mid-teen range.
Yeah, he's right there with this guy for me.
Yeah, I would say him and Morikawa, very good past performances, but just haven't found a way to win recently. I would go, and I mean, even Justin Thomas kind of falls into that same.
He had a little resurgence at the end of the year, though. Very good pass player, already been in Ryder Cups, and his form isn't great, but it's not bad. It's not Sepp Straka bad right now.
I mean, if we're talking about just current form, then Xander Schauffele should already probably been put on this list.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point. We should probably just pencil him in there at 15.
Yeah, I would. Okay, yeah, I like Schauffele at 15. And this is just going to piss so many people off when we post this. It's going to be great. But Schauffele right now, I mean, nothing. I watched him hit every single golf shot during the second round of the FedEx Cup, and I was disgusted. He looks like complete and utter dog shit. Not to say he didn't have one of the best years of the last decade last year, winning 2 majors, but fuck's sake, Schauffele has just gotten off the rails. Now I think we go, you got to stop messing with the.
I'm making it look clean, dude. Yes, it
It looks
does.
super clean. It looks fine. What direction do you think we're going next? You want to go Morikawa
Here or here?
I think I would take Morikawa over Lowry. So I would go Lowry 14,
Go Lowry at
Morikawa
14.
13. Oddly enough, look at how this has worked out. The whole left column is Americans, the whole center column is Europeans, and then only one guy in the right is European. I don't know. That's not really a trend. I'm just maybe
And
slightly
then
autistic. So now we're going Morikawa at 13. I like that. Okay, now it gets even hairier. I would probably go maybe Justin Thomas next. I think it's between him or Robert McIntyre. What do you think?
I think if you're going just those two against each other, I think Bobby Mack. I think I'd put Thomas just above Bobby Mack.
Yeah, and I think partially on past performance. So I think Bobby Mack's probably at 12.
Yeah, honestly, dude, we're forgetting somebody that's in. I don't know what their form is, but John Rahm can't be much higher on this list.
Yeah, but he's still such a force, dude. I think the whole live narrative is definitely, obviously not gone very well for him. Just with not really being in the spotlight, but I still think he is one of the leaders of that European team. And he's on his best day, he's still, a top 3 guy on that European team. So now I would probably have to go
be JT.
Yeah, I would say Justin at 11. I would agree. So now we've got 6 Europeans left and 4 Americans, which seems, I feel like we're on the right side of history here, just looking back at what we've done thus far. Now I cannot see. Oh my God, I'm such an idiot. I thought that bar on the right was covering up the names, but the names are right there. So now I would have to say probably, I think it's either between Ben Griffin, JJ Spawn, no, maybe Ben Griffin and John Rahm. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I would say Griffin. I'd still put Rahm. I don't know. No, I think Ben Griffin's got a better shot than JJ Spawn does. Like the next American off the board to me is
those
Spawn.
2 next to Scottie had the best years of any American. Like,
yeah, let's slate Rahm in at 10. I think that makes sense.
That's gonna be triggering. Yeah, I like that. And then I think we got to go Griffin. Like, for him just to be so new, like this is very much recency bias because of current form, but overall he's had one good PGA Tour season. Like, we could end up looking like absolute fools for putting Griffin at 9 here.
Yeah.
Or we could look like geniuses. But I mean, he is in very, very good form. I just hope that moon-faced fucking aviator wearing fuck can pull through for us. So now
I think Tyrrell's got to be, Tyrrell and Spawn to me are like the same guy, just Spawn with a little less fire.
Yeah, I would go Tyrrell or even Rose at this point.
And I was going to say Rose is. I think Tyrrell. I think if I'm taking Rose or Tyrrell right now, I think I'm taking Rose. So I think that makes Tyrrell fit in right here at 8.
Okay, I don't hate that. So we got Tyrrell Hatton at 8 now. So we've got 3 Americans left. We've got 4 Brits or Europeans. I think at this point it's between Hovland, Rose, and Spawn. Am I off base there, do you think?
No.
And if you're not watching this, go watch on the YouTube because it makes what we're saying make a little bit more sense.
Or come check our social media out. We'll post this on the socials.
Let's see.
I think Spawn, Hovland, and Rose are the next 3 off the board.
I would probably go. Ooh, that's hard, man. I would probably go Hovland next. He didn't have a great year.
7.
I like Hovland at 7. now I think it's between Spawn and Rose. Who are you taking? I mean, they were in a playoff. Justin Rose did beat him, but JJ Spawn had a phenomenal year.
We got to give Rosie for beating him in the playoff. We got to give Rosie the go there.
Okay, so then Rosie goes to 5, which, God, dude, this could look real bad, and this is going to be rage bait for a lot of European Ryder Cup fans and Americans alike. I feel like everyone's going to be equally pissed because it's hard to do, man. It's now.
I think it's here.
Yeah, I think
I'd take Tommy Fleetwood over Bryson right now.
I agree. And Bryson, it's just another one of those live things, but you just don't know what kind of form he's in. Like, we haven't really heard from him. He had a few decent finishes in the majors this year, but nothing to write home about. So I would concur with DeChambeau at 4. And then I think, I don't want to buck the or jump the gun here, but I think we know who number 1 is. Now it's just figuring out 2 or 3. Yeah, we can just slate Scottie in it at numero uno. He's just a world beater right now. I think I would honestly take Rory McIlroy just means a lot to the Ryder Cup team, but Fleetwood's in better form right now.
Yeah, well, I mean, Rory did just win the Irish Open. I think this is what makes the most sense. But I think it is crazy to see that we have him in the top 3.
And I mean, even just the fact that Fleetwood is number 3, I honestly might flip Fleetwood into DeChambeau.
No, I would take Fleetwood over DeChambeau right now.
Yeah, it's 1 win against 30 guys. Like, let's have a little constructive conversation. If we remove Fleetwood's 1 victory, where is he on this list?
He's probably 8 or 9, I would say.
Exactly.
But the other thing is his 1 victory was also so recent that's what, to me, like, when you're signifying current form, like, he finally won and he had multiple top 5s even in that span of like, oh, he can't win again. He can't win again. He can't win again. And then he wins. And then it was recent. So that's where I feel like.
Yeah, I feel pretty good about this list. There's definitely, up for a little discussion, but this will be fun to post on our social medias and get some sort of reaction. I just want to read through it for everybody that is not watching on the YouTube. So from back to front, ranking 24-1, or I'll go front to back on this one. Now, Spencer's just totally messing with the graphic here and fucking me up. So number 1, we've got Scheffler. 2 is McIlroy. 3 is Tommy Fleetwood. 4 is DeChambeau. 5 is Justin Rose. 6 is Spawn. 7 is Hovland. 8 is Hatton. Spencer keeps fucking with this graphic. 9 is Ben Griffin. 10 is John Rahm. John Rahm at 10 is pretty wild. Like, I think that could be one that we come back and we're like, what the fuck were we thinking? Hindsight, kind of 2020. Justin Thomas at 11. Bobby McIntyre at 12. Morikawa at 13, Lowry at 14, Xander Schauffele 15, Henley 16, Aubert 17, Cam Young 18, Harris English 19, Matt Fitzpatrick 20, Patrick Cantlay 21, Sam Burns 22, Sepp Straka 23, and Nikolai Højgaard 24. So this will be fun to post on the graphic. Let's see how many guys in the top 10. So let's see, top 10, the Europeans have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 4, they have 6. So I think that kind of makes sense. And just in general, I mean, we'll obviously get to it next week, but I am pretty scared of this U.S. Or this European Ryder Cup team. I think that they are a force. Like Bobby McIntyre, it's almost a patriotic thing for me as well. Like, I feel like McIntyre is so proud to be from, to be representing his country. I feel like, Tyrrell Hatton is kind of the same. Tommy Fleetwood, Rory McIlroy, a lot of them, it feels like it means more to the Europeans than it does to the Americans. I don't know what your take is on that, but it could, let's just put it this way. If I was betting, and maybe another hindsight's 2020 thing, maybe I'll look back on this and be like, it's the U.S. team on home soil. Like the U.S. team is going to win this. But I personally, as of right now, I feel better about the, Moonface. I love that shit. I feel better about the European team than I feel about the U.S. team, in my opinion.
Yeah, I definitely think that this could be a series, if you call the Ryder Cup a series over time, this could be a series defining win or loss, because the U.S. hasn't lost on U.S. soil in so long, but the teams clearly are a little bit lopsided right now. When you combine the history of, there's really one player on the European team in, Højgaard, who got our lowest ranking, that he's a wild card, but he's doesn't have, there's more wild cards on the United States team. You have no clue how JJ Spawn's going to react to this. You have no clue how Ben Griffin's going to react to this. And then all the players that on the United States team that are good and seasoned and played in the Ryder Cups, other than Scottie Scheffler, not a lot of them are playing that great. So it's a very up in the air. And if the United States can somehow pull out this win, it's going to be huge for them, I think, overall. And then the same thing with the European team comes to Bethpage and wins. It's going to be like, holy shit, we need some soul searching on the United States.
Yeah, we got to overhaul this whole fucking situation. Did you see what Justin Rose had to say about the team aspect of it? Kind of dogging the American team. He said the team aspect for the Europeans feels less forced than with the Americans. The Americans are much more every man for themselves. And he goes, the team aspect feels pretty natural for us Europeans. So, I mean, there's that aspect to it as well, where, the Europeans feel more like that scrappy team with a lot of very good players, not a lot of great players, where the U.S. is kind of got a hodgepodge of more like a super team feel to it. You know what I mean? Where Colin Morikawa in his own right is, James Harden, washed up, but he's still on his best day pretty good. There's a few different ways this shit could go, but I would agree with you. I think that it could definitely define the Ryder Cup for the European team if they win this. For the U.S., there's more pressure on the U.S. because it's on U.S. soil. And if we can't get this done, then when are we ever going to get it done in Europe?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And then you go into the next one. You're like, well, they already have the leg up with the home field advantage. And then, who knows in 2 years where this team's going to be. But I would imagine the United States team looks a lot like the European team. You're probably like, oh, that might look the exact same with maybe 2 changes in 2020. What would that be? 7? But the United States team, it's like, is Scottie still going to be there? Yes, probably. But everybody else is kind of like, I don't know.
Up in the air. Yeah.
Well, let's wrap this pod up with a little What the Fuck Wednesday. I'll start. Mine happened about 2 hours ago. I took my son on a walk to the park. I get home and one of the the parking meter guys pulls up next to my truck parked in front of my house, and it was fucking street sweeping day. So I'm watching him give me a $50 ticket for being parked on the street on a Wednesday from 8 to 5 on the 3rd Wednesday of the month. And I was literally standing right there with my kid. And I'm like, is this guy really going to give me a ticket? I was going to yell at him, I'll move it. But I thought I was getting another ticket from my plates being expired, which has happened to me once already on another car. And so then I walked behind it and I was like, oh, my plates are not expired. So that's good. I got another month until that happens. But then I was like, what did I get a ticket for? Because literally yesterday, when we got out of the car after Sawyer's haircut, Kylie looks at me and goes, hey, we should check the street sweeping signs. Cause there was one, we live on a corner. So there's one on one street and one apparently on the other street that we actually live on. And on the other street down on the corner, it was every 3rd Friday. So I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to move my, my DNVR Tundra that I've got at the house right now on Friday so I don't get a ticket there. I didn't check the street that I was parked, that I'd parked the actual truck on that I'm driving right now, my truck. And so I'm watching this guy just he's driving on the right side. He fucking rolls up to me, looks at my plate, types in the shit, fucking slips that thing in my handle, and $50, 50 beans out the window.
Bro, you've
Unbelievable.
gotten so many tickets. Like, I got one really big ticket a few years ago, but other than that, I'm pretty clean. You're just getting nickel and dime by the city of Denver. Like,
I
you
am.
should
They're
you
just
should have
prodding.
yeah, you should have fucking equity in the city at this point, considering how much money you've paid them in tickets. Also, you got a ticket in my car like a year and a half ago and never paid it. But it was like one of those parking lot tickets where it's not an official city of Denver. Like, it wasn't a cop. It was just some bullshit. So you're like, oh,
Right.
fuck this thing. And occasionally I get those spam text messages about a ticket not being paid until I realize it's spam. I'm like, this motherfucker, like, my credit score has probably gone down 200 points because of this $50 ticket. But no, it's fine. I know it's all in line. My What the Fuck Wednesday is going to be I was at the gym yesterday and there was a dude sitting there inside of the gym with his shoes off, like just airing out his dogs. And I just personally think that nobody should be taking their shoes off inside of a gym unless you're in the locker room. But if you're out, like, and it was an older guy with like the long white socks on, I'm like, brother, you got to put those dogs away. Like, there's not enough ventilation in this place for you to be taking your shoes off. And just some people like work out with no shoes on. It's such a weird thing. Like, shoes are just, it's fucking
Matt
2025,
Collins, dude.
man. Yeah. I mean, I guess I actually listened to Matt Collins talk about it, and there is some science behind like your feet and like how your equilibrium as a person, which is just absolutely wild to me. But we definitely grew up with I would call it more sensitive feet. We always had shoes on outside, where we had some friends who were running around like fucking like wild animals with
Tarzan out there.
no shoes on, like running across gravel. I'm like, I was just, we were soft, at least from a shoe perspective, growing up as kids. So I'm always like, I'm putting shoes on, not showing my toes for the most part, unless I'm near a body of water. The dogs are not out. So I don't get where people get off getting so comfortable just taking their shoes off in public. Like,
Well, yeah, that and dude, there's this guy at my gym, the new one that I go to, and every morning after my workout, I go sit in the sauna for like 5 minutes, and every day he's there and he's not in the sauna. He's maybe out of the pool. I don't see where he comes from, but he's just sitting in one of the like beach chairs that's next to not even a hot tub. It's just in the middle of the room, like his tile, and there's a steam room and a sauna. And he just sits there and he's reading his Kindle in like a towel. And I'm like, that's kind of a bizarre 5:45 in the morning activity to just like, you can do that at home. You can read at home, most likely, I guess, unless he's got a kid. And, right when I go home, I see my son is
how
awake.
old of a guy is he?
Probably early 40s.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's an even weirder move. I figured it'd be like some guy in their 60s, but yeah, like go do that in your car. This is funny. How many people do you see just sitting in their car at the gym? Like, that is one of the toughest things to get out of the fucking car for. I've sat in the car in front of the gym for like 30 minutes before. Like,
Really? See, I love it. Like, I get there and I like almost forget to lock my car. I'm so excited to get in and get to work, get the hands dirty.
I mean, I respect that. You're a grinder. I'm like, oh, I gotta go fucking do 20 minutes of cardio and like fucking 3 different circuits, and then I'm done. Like, I usually work out for about 45 minutes. I feel like that's fair. Anyone that spends an hour and a half at the gym is fooling themselves. Like, nobody's doing an hour and a half worth of shit. You're sitting there for a good half hour. Like, I'm very
after 45
get in,
minutes,
do my shit and get out.
After 45 minutes to an hour, there just becomes a lot of, it's the same workout. You're just prolonging it by talking or going to get water or sitting down, like there's 45 minutes to an hour is about a solid time. And then any more than that, you're just playing with it at that point.
Yeah. You need to put your shit away. There is one guy at my gym, last thing before we end this shit. There's one dude at the gym I go to who is there almost every single time I'm there. And he is always there when I get there, and he's there when I leave. Like, and he's pretty ripped, don't get me wrong, but he is the absolute fucking dude at the gym who talks to everybody. And I've never talked to him, thank God, but he's the guy that has to be friends with fucking everyone. He's talking to the ladies that are cleaning the equipment. He's talking to new friends by the free weights. I'm like, dude, what? And I honestly, part of me is jealous because I'm like, good for you on just getting out there and making friends, because I'm not taking my AirPods out. If somebody makes eye contact with me, I'm like giving them the middle finger. I don't want to talk to anybody. But this guy is just chatting everyone up, and it blows my mind that somebody, I guess it's, if you don't have a hobby like golf or something where you can go out and meet people and make friends, gym is kind of that place. But it's just, talking to people at the gym is just like off limits for me. Definitely, obviously females, we're both in relationships, but even when I was single, I would never, approaching women at the gym is the biggest fucking ick. When I see a dude, I'm like, oh, do not talk to her, bro. This is not going to go well for you. But then on the other side of that, pause, talking to dudes, same thing. I'm like, why would dudes do I need to talk to at the gym? I don't need some fucking play date here. We're all here to do the thing, and that's try to be less fat. Like, that's all. Or try to maintain. Like, I want to work out so I can eat a few carbs tonight and have a few drinks and not feel like dog shit about it. That's pretty much.
There you go. So we eat to live. We don't live to eat. We work out to eat to live. We're going to end this podcast. Appreciate everybody tuning in to Big Drive Energy Live. Make sure you're following us on all the socials at Big Drive Energy Golf on Instagram. Hop on there and let us know your comments on our power rankings once we post those later today. We appreciate you all tuning in. We'll be back next Thursday after Mitchell gets to go see Bethpage for himself. Hopefully he doesn't have too many drinks in that box and can actually give us some good reporting on what's going down there for the Ryder
Free booze and free food. Well, and real quick. So I guess there's celebrity matches. Like, it's a practice round, but there's celebrity matches in the morning. And then the players come out and actually practice in the afternoon. So,
oh, sweet. Yeah. You're going to have to get on the Twitter fingers and the Instagram story fingers for that one. That'll be sick.
They'll probably be zero service like everywhere else. Fucking, I won't be able to tweet shit. I won't be able to post anything, but I will definitely get some footage. And I'm definitely, this is one thing I will buy merch from. I will have a couple 100 beans ready. I am buying. No barstool bullshit, no dog ass.
We'll have to do, we'll do a merch report then on Thursday. Bring it all to your podcasting area, and we'll do a little fashion show. Maybe we'll have you
do a show and tell.
Put a shirt on.
Fuck yeah. Oh, I'm not popping my top. It will be held up. I will put a hat on. That's even fucking a bit of a stretch taking my hat off, but I can just see you fucking you
screenshot
you fucking dickhead. But I will be buying some sort of merch. I'm not a real like buy a polo. Like, where am I gonna wear a polo? I don't give a fuck. Like, I might buy a hoodie or a hat or both, or maybe a flag or something. But other than that, I'm not. You know me, I'm not huge spend $1,200 on merch type of guy. So
100%. Just so you can say you went to the Ryder Cup, which you technically aren't even going to. But technically are.
Fuck you, dude. Yeah.
All right. Well, everybody
if I'm there, it counts. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Everybody have a great weekend. We will talk to you next Thursday on Big Drive Energy. Peace.